Let me give you another tip for your hamstring. If you want to bend forward over the leg and you're doing a pose like Parshva Tonasana, what's important to recognize is the movement has to start from your core. And the bottom of your core includes your sitting bones, your pubic bone, your tailbone, your pelvic floor. The top of your core represents the navel and the top of the hips. So step your right foot forward, left foot back. And just notice what happens if you move forward in the way that I suggest. I want you to feel like your pubic bone and your right sitting bone are pushing forward, as if they're both pushing the leg forward. So from the standing, left leg back, right leg forward, push your sitting bone and pubic bone toward the heel of the foot. And then keeping it pressing forward, allow the hips to bend and go forward while still pushing the sitting bone toward the foot, and go as far as you can without causing discomfort. Now when you feel like coming up, bend the knee, keep pushing the pubic bone, sitting bone forward and stand back up. Now, let's try the way that doesn't work as well, but sometimes people think this is what they're supposed to do. Because as you go forward, you have to let the sitting bones lift up. But what I'm telling you is, even though the sitting bones are lifting up, they should be pressing forward. What happens if you just lift them up? So this time, put the right leg forward, left leg back, let the sitting bones lift up, push them up as you bend forward. Notice if the hamstring stretches more. And if you keep doing that and try and come up, you'll feel your back strains. Bend the knee, stand up. So better, even though the sitting bones are moving upwards as you bend forward, press them downwards. Like my hands are pushing together, but I can move them in either direction while they're still pushing together. So as you press your hands together and move them back and forth, one hand will be pushing one way, but moving the other way. So in this case, right leg forward, left leg back, push the right sitting bone into the right foot, allow it to move backwards as you bend forward. Push pubic bone and sitting bone toward the right heel, move the belly button toward the toes, and then if you need to, bend the knee, but push the hip forward, come back up. And it's a lot less strain for your back, for your hamstrings. It works a lot better because you're moving from your core, not locking the core. Change legs if you wish. Left leg forward, right leg back, hips level. So do it what I'll call the right way, right way, or safest way, least safe way, okay? So the way that's safer for most people is to move from the core. With left leg forward, right leg back, and I'll turn sideways so you can see. Push the bottom of the core, the pubic bone, the sitting bone of the left leg into the left foot, as if you're pushing the hip into the heel. And so have that on the floor, push the sitting bone and pubic bone toward the foot, keep it pressing forward, allow the hips to bend forward, let the sitting bone lift up, but push it toward the foot, keep the chin up to avoid nerve tensioning in this case. And then feel the pubic bone and sitting bone are pushing toward the left heel like you're shortening your hamstring. And then move the belly button more forward to open the front. Then, safest way to come up is to bend the knee. Push the pubic bone forward, stand back up. Now we'll try what I'll call the least safe way. So when you bend forward, your sitting bones tend to lift. Actually consciously make them lift. And this usually will feel less comfortable, more stretchy. Try it. Left leg forward, right leg back. Let the sitting bones lift up as you bend forward. For some people, you feel instantly an overstretch of the hamstring or like a sciatic tear. Some people feel too much tension in the back. If you were to come up safely, still bend the knee to come up, but when you come up while lifting the sitting bone, you'll often still feel the lower back hurt. This is not a good way to come up for most people. So the way that's safer is to move from the core. When we're bending forward in a pose like this, you want to feel like you always have to open your front. So even though you'll be in a forward bend shape, I want you to feel your pubic bone goes down and forward and your belly button comes up and forward. So you're trying to expand the front of the body. You'll be in this shape trying to do this. So from this position, begin. Left leg forward, right leg back. Push the left sitting bone, pubic bone into the left foot. Move the belly button forward. Pubic bone down and forward to heel, belly button forward and down toward the front of the feet. Breathe into the space between the navel and the pubic bone. And then to come back up, safest is to bend the knee, but if you don't, just simply push the pubic bone forward, expand the belly as you come up. And that usually feels a lot better.